Good morning, BookTube. This is Johnny. Here I go again. It is a Tuesday morning here in Southwest Michigan. It is 9:38 in the morning. It is October the 21st, 2025. As I said yesterday, oh, my wife just texted me. She has a message. I have to text her back. I don't know how to text. Somebody wanted to text me, and I told them I do not know how to text. So what I do is all I type here is "love you." That's what I do, just to tell her I'm not dead. Tell her that I am still conscious. I haven't gone into the great beyond. Let me see, I gotta focus here. You, love you. I can do that. That's about as much as I can text. Love you. Okay. So that's what I do. My wife texts me. They're 2 hours behind us, so it is 7:39 there in Denver, Colorado. So I said in my last video that before my wife comes home, flies back from Denver, that I would show you some more of the books I got from the late Steve Jenkins library back in August 23, 2025. They were gifted to us by his widow. Yeah, my wife went down there, as I said, and she became friends with Steve Jenkins' wife, Eileen, and they get together once in a while and they drink tea, and Carol checks up on her. She found out that Eileen likes peanut brittle. So my wife always makes peanut brittle. So she'll make peanut brittle and take it down there and just see how she's doing. So that's how come she contacted us back in August. Do you want these books by Steve Jenkins? Because my wife had become friends with her. And yeah, and Steve Jenkins' daughters had gone to high school with our kids, and so I knew about Steve Jenkins before he passed away, and he was a very interesting individual. So this is number 7 of the late Steve Jenkins library. As I told you, I typed out the list. You can go to my online diary of Crooked Fingers, August the 23rd, 2025, and you can see the full list of books. As far as this morning, I'm waking up. I'm on page 853 of my 2025 diary. I'm reading for morning devotions. In Your Light We See Light, A Reformed Theology of Divine Illumination by Paul Ewan. This book is, I would only recommend it to those who are very well knowledge of the Bible and who have a basic understanding of Reformed theology and some knowledge of the history of Christian spirituality, but it's thought-provoking. And then I'm getting into this new book I got last week, Eternal Son by Robert Latham. I got it when I mentioned this book in my video. Our son Josiah, who lives in Linden, Washington, you know, our oldest son lives down the street, Caleb and his family. He said that he would want a systematic theology by Robert Latham, and so I told him that I would buy him one, and it's supposed to be delivered today there in Linden. if my children or grandchildren want any book, they know that Papa and Grandma will get it. And Josiah is a Christian. He's an elder in his church, and he's a Christian school teacher, and he's married to a Christian school teacher, and he has 2 little girls who are really sweet. And so, yeah, so Josiah, I sent him a Robert Letham's Systematic Theology. So these are the books. Number 7 of the books from the late Steve Jenkins library. And like I said, it's going on 6 minutes already. This tape ends about in 28 minutes. The first book I got from Steve Jenkins, I had other books by him. His name is David Mitchell, and this is one called Number 9 Dream. I started collecting him, David Mitchell. He, a number of years ago, I don't know why, he wrote a novel that was a number of years ago that caught my attention. See if I can see it here listed. See, I'm wasting time again. Cloud Atlas. It was made into a film a number of years ago. He wrote Number 9 Dream, Ghosts Written, Cloud Atlas. He's been a finalist for the Man Booker Prize. He lives in Ireland. This is published in 2000. This one came out in 2001. Well, let me see here, make sure. Anyway, his novels look interesting, and I'm always looking for interesting things to read. And so I start collecting his writings. So yeah, he wrote Cloud Atlas, which was 2003, copyrighted in 2001. So I got that. And as I mentioned, I saw books throughout the late Steve Jenkins library that just looked interesting. I had no knowledge of them or knew of their name, and this is one of them. I even can pronounce it, A Life of a Visionary. Supposedly this guy was an architect, the creator of an architectonic style. It just looked interesting. It's about architect or architectonic style. It just looked really interesting. The Life of a Visionary. I suppose it's a biography of this architect. And I think it's translated from Italian by Paul Martin. These are 2 memoirs. As you know, I am into memoirs, biographies, autobiographies. And I never heard of this Nick Flynn, but in Steve Jenkins, he had a 2-volume memoir of this Nick Flynn, Another Bullshit Night in Suck City, the winner of the Penn Martha O'Brien Award for Memoir. And I never heard of it, but Steve Jenkins had both volumes. The Ticking is the Bomb by Nick Flynn. Little blurb by San Francisco Chronicle, a beautiful, intelligent book that renders pain both ordinary and extraordinary late art. So I don't know, it looked interesting. He's written a play and 2 books of poetry. He divides his time between Houston and Brooklyn. This came out in, when did this one come out? 2010. This one is going on 10 minutes here already. Anyway, I got those. As you know, I'm into the Transcendentalists. I didn't have this in my American Transcendentalist library. I have a huge David Thoreau collection. This is H.D. Thoreau, a writer's journal, selected and edited with an introduction by Laurence Stapleton. These are selections from the writings of David Thoreau. This is a second volume of a biography on, no, it's an autobiography written by Anthony Burgess. I had the first volume, but I didn't have the second volume, and Steve Jenkins had it in his library. He also, I think I had the first volume, but I wasn't sure. You've had your time, the second part of the Confessions of Anthony Burgess. See all the books he wrote? He was a prolific writer, Anthony Burgess. I mean, just, I can't, it's not going to work. Anyway, I got the second volume of his autobiography of Anthony Burgess. You've had your time, the second part of his Confessions. So I was pleased to find that. As you know, I collect the writings of Neil Stevenson, and this is one of his most famous novels. I had a copy of it, but I lost it over the years, and Steve Jenkins had it. It's called The Diamond Age. It's like science fiction, and so I was pleased to find a copy of it. This is a German romantic biography, Friedrich Schiller, poet of freedom, published by the Schiller Institute, 1985. So this is cool. I collect the writings of Stephen Spender, and these are his journals. He was a British writer. I think he was a he wrote plays and stories and poems, and but this is his journals. If you're into British literature, modern British literature, you come across his name, and that's why I got into him. This is published in his journals, 1939 to 1970, Part 2, 1974 to 1983. These are his journals, edited by John Goldsmith. I collect the writings of the American modernist writer Donald Barthelme, and this is his. This is one person that's also hard to find in good condition and hardback, is his writings. This is Paradise by him. Perfect condition. Really pleased to find this. Published 1986. And then he had, this is one of his famous ones, The Dead Father by Donald Barthelme. He was an American writer, along there with Robert Culver. I think that's his name. But anyway, I was pleased to find that one. So you can tell that we had the same literary taste. Because I collect his writings. I have a whole bunch of his writings, but I didn't have these two, Paradise. And this is another science fiction work. I don't collect, he was a Russian, and I think he wrote dystopian kind of novels, science fiction. This is Standoff Lem, Peace on Earth. This is also a library withdrawal. He wrote a lot of books, and I have 2 or 3 more downstairs, but I didn't have this one. And this is a book that was in Steve Jenkins' library. He had other books, but Catholic, and didn't really interest me. But this one is Liturgical Piety by Robert Reverend Louis Bouyer. And so I just took it because I have other books by Louis Bouyer, Boyer, in my library, and I am interested in liturgical piety. So that's why I got it. And this is another book by Anthony Burgess. It's called A Long Trip to Teatime. And it looks like he bought this when one of Steve Jenkins' daughters lives in England, and they would go over there and visit her, and I think that's where he bought this, over there in England, because it's bought in London, 1976. It's like a children's book with drawings. I don't see any dates in it when he bought it, but I think that's where he got it, when he was over there in England when they were visiting their daughter. So it's like a children's book, A Long Trip to Teatime, with 21 line drawings by Testa, 1976. Yeah, it has these line drawings in it. So that's what I got. Another book by Anthony Burgess I never heard of. And then I got this Russian science fiction, second volume of Anthony Burgess' autobiography, selected writings of Thoreau, 2-volume memoir by Nick Flynn, biography of an Italian architect, Life of a Visionary, a novel by the British writer David Mitchell, Number 9 Dream, finalist for the Man Booker Prize. Liturgical Piety by Bouyer. 2 novels by the modernist American writer Donald Barthelme, The Dead Father, Paradise. Yeah, and the back is a blurb by William Gass. Not Gaddis, but William H. Gass. William H. Gass wrote that very famous novel that has been reprinted many times, The Tunnel. And Dark Owl Press is coming out with a new edition of The Tunnel by William H. Gass in the spring next year, and I have it pre-ordered. I already have a copy, but I like multiple copies. This is a biography of the German romantic Friedrich Schiller. Sci-fi by Neil Stevenson. This is one of his earlier novels. I think this one came out in, what year is this one? Doesn't say when it came out. But it's a very famous novel by him. And then you have Stephen Spender's Journals, 1939 to 1983, edited by John Goldsmith. So that's what I got. So I can take these downstairs and find a place for them in the lower level. So this morning, I don't know, yesterday, late afternoon, the weather was so nice. I was sitting outside in the driveway in the lawn chairs, looking at the late autumn colors in the trees, and I looked in the front yard and I said, I should mow the lawn. So I mowed the front lawn, and I trimmed some butterfly bushes in the backyard, and because I figured it's going to be raining the rest of the week, and I might as well enjoy the good weather while I can. So I don't have any plans for today. It's a Tuesday. It's supposed to rain starting at 1 o'clock. And so I'll read The Eternal Son. Maybe I started reading that biography on Gertrude Stein by Francisco Wade last night. Really enjoying it. Yeah, Gertrude Stein has always fascinated me. I have a shelf of biographies and her writings in my library downstairs. She was friends with Hemingway, James Joyce. Her brother Leo Stein collected the art back there in the 1909, Picasso painted a portrait of Gertrude Stein when he was in his early 20s. So yeah, so it's going on 20 minutes. Thank you for watching this video. Do praying you're all doing well. Don't know if I'll make another video this week. I think I've overloaded you guys with these videos, and I'm just gonna close now, read and write and pray, seek the Lord. Yeah, someone asked me about what my eschatology is, if I'm a dispensational premillennialist, and I always tell folks I'm a Pauline. That means I go by what is in the writings in the New Testament, the writings of the Apostle Paul. But I do believe in the second coming of Christ. And so every day we're to live in the light that Christ could return anytime. It says in the Bible, in the New Testament, he'll come like a thief in the night. And so we have to always be ready to meet the Lord and to meet the day of judgment. So I'll sign off. May the Lord bless. Until next time, bye.